Washington, D.C. brings to mind certain images: government, senators and congressmen battling about causes that they might believe in, stalemate, and gridlock. However, there is another and darker side to the foundation that holds up this city. Consider, you are a guest at the White House. You are asleep, and late at night, somebody knocks on your door. You get up, you open the door with concern, and you stare into the eyes of Abraham Lincoln. Welcome to Haunted Washington. Hello, I'm Donald Allen Kirch, and I invite you to walk into my world of the strange and the bizarre. This is Stranger Than Fiction.
Forget the world you know. Enter a bizarre dimension where the strange and unusual guide your imagination towards the unimaginable. Life is stranger than fiction in these true stories, where the ordinary is replaced with the extraordinary. Explore strange legends, weird myths, and odd folklore. The facts are laid before you to examine. You're invited to draw your own conclusions on these true stories of the paranormal.
Washington, D.C. is seen throughout the world as the capital of the United States of America, as a seat of power, and as a city of monuments. What most do not realize is that it is also one of the most haunted cities in America. This city has seen a lot in its short history. There have been military battles, deadly duels, assassinations, untimely deaths, and invading armies. There are so many associated tragedies with this town that it can compare its skeletons to any in the world. The city got its birth from an act of Congress on July 16, 1790. The territories of Columbia, Georgetown, and the city of Washington were merged together into a single entity called the District of Columbia. The future site of the American government had no stronger supporter than the man it had been named after, first President of the United States, George Washington. The United States Capitol is considered by most parapsychologists as one of the most haunted in Washington, D.C. One could state that the hauntings began right away upon the construction of the Rotunda in 1863. Several times during the night, the spirit of a construction worker had been seen floating above the vastness of the sacred dome. He is an unknown soul and carries with him a toolbox filled with stonework tools. He was said to have fallen to his death. Another such soul appears within the original halls of the U.S. Senate. This ghost also has no identity, but it is rumored that a wall had either collapsed upon him by accident or that he was the victim of murder due to a jealousy of a local politician. In either case, his dedication to finishing his work has survived long after his death. Tour guides at the Capitol have seen the ghost of Pierre Charles L'Enfant roaming the halls. L'Enfant, by all rights, could be called the father of Washington, D.C. It was he who had designed the original plans later carried out by Congress. However, L'Enfant was a passionate and unpopular man, and his vision of the city was not fully appreciated by the American government. In a fit of rage, the man was ultimately dismissed by President Washington and died in poverty in 1825. He is often seen mumbling to himself, looking over a set of city blueprints in his hands. He appears as if he is looking for something. What? No one seems to know. There is also reported a ghost unfriendly to the local news reporter. Upon the old marble steps leading from the house chamber to the dining room, there are a series of stains said to be the blood of Representative William P. Tolby, a congressman from Kentucky who served from 1884 to 1888. Tolby had been accused of many scandals by a news reporter named Charles E. Kincaid for the Louisville Times. The congressman had been involved with everything from adultery to a patent office scandal. Tolby had assaulted Kincaid by tweaking his nose in public. Embarrassed, Kincaid encountered Representative Tolby on these old house steps, shooting him with a handgun. Tolby died 2 weeks later. Kincaid was acquitted, claiming self-defense. News reporters have stated that when one of their fellows fall upon these stairs, the ghost of William Tolby can be seen glaring down at them. In the speaker's room, late at night, one can hear an unsung hero against slavery. On February 21st, 1848, President and Representative John Quincy Adams suffered a stroke and died. There are those today that state that if you stand where President Adams' desk once rested, you can hear the passionate man debate into the late hours of the night about his views upon slavery. Several night security guards have written reports about hearing a man yell inside this room about the evils of keeping men in bondage. President Adams is not alone on his rounds. There have been many sightings of President Garfield's specter roaming the hallways of Congress since his assassination on July 2nd, 1881, by a disgruntled office seeker named Charles J. Goutier. Of all the Capitol ghosts, the most feared is the demon Black Cat. This cat is said to prowl in the darkened halls of the building and is only seen upon the eve of national disaster. The cat was first reported by a guardsman who had shot at it in 1862. It made its presence known the night before the Lincoln assassination, the October 1929 stock market crash, and the tragic death of John F. Kennedy. The demon's favorite resting place is in the Washington's tomb. 2 levels below the Capitol Rotunda is an original feature of the building, which was designed as a tomb for George Washington and the rest of his family. The Washington family politely refused the offer. The cat can be heard meowing late into the night, although the room is never open to the public. The ghostly cat always gets into the chamber and always remains. There is also an unknown World War I soldier who makes his presence known. Sometimes he is seen guarding Washington's tomb, but more recently he has been seen in the rotunda during state funerals. When a president is kept inside the rotunda during a state funeral, a soldier dressed like a World War I doughboy enters the room, salutes, and then silently walks away. The White House is the oldest building on President's Park. Built in 1792, the building was opened on November 1st, 1800. The first couple to live there was President John Adams and his wife, Abigail. Upon his first day at the Executive Mansion, Adams was heard to say,
"Only wise and honest men live within this house."
Within the vastness of the East Room, late at night, some White House staff have been assaulted with the overpowering scent of soap and damp clothing. It has been said that this is where Abigail Adams had hung her and her husband's clothing to be dried. Others have seen the nation's second First Lady carrying baskets of laundry into the room, only to have her disappear upon following her. Some within the Taft administration even went on the record observing Abigail Adams walking through walls. Now, keep in mind the entire inside of the White House was gutted out and rebuilt during the Truman administration. Although copied and replaced better than the original, what are floors, walls, and doors to you and I could be slightly different within the spirit world. The White House most famous ghost is that of Washington's 16th president, Abraham Lincoln. Several famous personalities have stated seeing the former president, including First Lady Grace Coolidge. Once, while walking through the White House late at night, the woman saw Lincoln standing in the Yellow Room, staring out a window with his hands behind his back, gazing upon the Potomac. Theodore Roosevelt's personal valet ran screaming from the building, saying that he had seen Lincoln. The most famous encounter, and certainly the most documented, occurred in 1942 and involved Queen Wilhelmina of the Netherlands. The Queen heard footsteps approaching her room, a soft knock, and answered the door. Before her stood Lincoln, dressed in a frock coat and famous top hat. She stated he softly looked down at her and smiled. The Queen fainted from the encounter and talked of it often afterwards. She was always heard saying,
"His eyes were both caring and tragic."
Others, like Harry Truman, Winston Churchill, and Dwight D. Eisenhower, have claimed to feel the great man's presence during tragic or difficult times. Perhaps, having been the last victim of a terrible civil war, the late president feels it is his spectral duty to offer solace whenever possible. Also, the ghost of Lincoln's son, Willie, who died in the White House of typhoid on February 20th, 1862, tends to approach children, offering them a new playmate. Other presidents have been spotted haunting the White House as well. Several guests have reported hearing Thomas Jefferson play his violin in the Yellow Room. Andrew Jackson has been spotted sleeping within the Rose Room, and his laugh has been heard echoing within the building since the 1860s. Lincoln even reported the encounter once. Mary Todd Lincoln often complained about hearing Jackson's ghost stomping up and down the ceiling, keeping her awake at night. 3 non-resident spirits also haunt this house. One is the ghost of David Burns, who was listed as the original owner of the land before selling it to the government. Often, while people are standing in the Blue Room, a soft voice has been heard saying,
"I'm Mr. Burns."
The second is a constant reminder of the White House's most tragic hour. The second is that of a British soldier dressed as an invader during the War of 1812. This specter seems to be forever setting the White House ablaze, reminding all of the invasion and torching of the mansion. Researchers claim that this unfortunate soldier had lost his life the following day of the invasion as an unusual hurricane passed through the town, extinguishing the purposely set fires. He is seen, either inside or out, holding a torch waiting for his orders to strike. The third is more timed. Every July 6th, the ghost of Anna Surratt, daughter of the convicted Lincoln assassination co-conspirator Mary Surratt, bangs upon the main entrance, begging for the president to spare the life of her mother. There is talk of the ghost of President John Adams seen in the East Room, working at his desk reading documents with only a single candle lighting the way. He appears both worried and annoyed. No one knows why. The ghost of George Washington is often seen standing in front of the White House, looking upon the structure he helped build but did not live long enough to live in. In modern times, Ronald Reagan has been spotted walking in the direction of the Oval Office. He always appears to be in some unknown hurry. In Lafayette Square, there is a nightly vision connected with the author of the Star-Spangled Banner. Philip Barton Key II, the son of Francis Scott Key, and the author of the American National Anthem, began an affair with the wife of Daniel Sickles, a friend of his. On February 26, 1859, Sickles became aware of the affair. The next evening, the unfortunate husband had spotted Key signaling for his wife on Lafayette Square and rushed Key, shooting him 3 times. Eyewitnesses have stated, for the record, seeing Key's ghost walking about the square late at night, still waiting for his lady fair. When one travels down the southwest portion of Independence Avenue, on or around 800, near the site of the Federal Aviation Administration, there exists ghosts reminding all of our nation's shamed past. Upon this ground, there once existed a most notorious slave market. The Yellow House, or Williams Slave Pen, had been seen as a modest and well-kept establishment in its day. It had a deep basement in which newly arrived slaves from the New England triangle trade were kept for auction. On dark nights, there have been reports of a woman screaming, of cold chains clanking, and of a lonely cry of a slave barker trying his best to make a profit. Beyond the average congressman with a cause or senator wanting to pass a bill, ghosts abound in the American capital. If touring the city late at night and you encounter an unknown chill and suddenly feel the cold clasp of a hand upon your shoulder, well, good luck to you too. We come to the end of another strange but true account of the paranormal. If you would like to see some of my personal works, please visit my website at donaldallenkirch.com. It would be an honor to entertain you. My books are available in both digital and print formats. Tune in at a later date and I will share yet another of my fascinating files. So, for Stranger Than Fiction, this is Donald Allen Kirch wishing you unpleasant dreams. Good night.